Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. Tonight's video is going to be an introduction to trading and charting, and I really want to tie it in with my thought process as well because I think the emotional side of trading is one of the things that can really hurt new guys. And I started this channel because I wanted to educate new guys in the crypto space and help you with some tips that I've learned in my years trading in the stock market and in crypto. So I want to try and tie it all together and go over the basics of things I look for when I'm charting and trading. So this is just a basic type of line graph or chart here on Coinbase. So the line represents the price. Down the bottom here, we can see the date and the price up the top. The shaded area, just so I can see it more easily, and different time frames up the top here. But the style of chart I want to focus on today is candlesticks. So again, candlesticks a really good way of a visual representation of what's going on in the market and the action we see. So I've got ant shares up for a reason here today because I want to tie in my technical analysis with fundamental analysis and emotions around trading, and I think this is a really good example at the moment. So all I've done here is clicked on my Fibonacci tool and gone from the bottom where this run up started a few days ago to the top. And then what this does is give you certain retracement levels, okay? So again, I spoke about in previous technical analysis videos how good traders have got orders set at these levels automatically, and we're going to see bounces off these levels and guys ready to step in and buy when we hit these levels. So now the fundamental, I spoke about this sort of emotional chart here and where we are in the market as a whole the other night. But when I see something like the ant shares get a lot of media attention and a lot of hype, and it goes up in basically a straight line from point triple oh five to point double oh five, you've got to recognize that guys have made 10 times their money in a few days. And another indicator down here is the big volume we saw, and then again on the sell-off we saw big volume. So nearly everyone that's bought and made money here is all sold again, okay? And volume can really tell you a lot about a market as well as the other indicators that I'm going to discuss in the next few slides. But I just want to tell you guys how important it is here when you see something like this on a daily chart, okay? So daily time frame here. When something goes straight up like this, it can't just keep going up in a straight line. No matter what coin it is, it doesn't just keep going up, and it's always going to have pullbacks. And the pullbacks are normally to these Fibonacci levels. There's a lot of technical traders use these as guides, okay? So ant shares, for example, I'd like to see a nice strong bounce off this 50% level in the coming days and resume that uptrend. Otherwise, if we break down below here, and once we break down below 61% here, I really think this will just flatten out for a while. Not to say that this isn't a good long-term project, okay? Not one that I'm personally invested in, but I know a lot of you guys have made money out of this, so it doesn't mean that even if it breaks down below here, it can't, keep continuing to build over the coming days, weeks, and months. But this is just for short-term trading, okay? This is, like I said, I think a really clear sign of a bit of a bubble that's now the air's coming out of it, and technically what I'd like to see for this to keep going up and what it means if it breaks certain levels, it would keep going down, okay? So the next one I want to touch on is trading view. So this is a more advanced sort of charting software I like to use, and it doesn't have all the small coins listed, but majority of the big coins, and this has got a bit more noise on the chart, and I don't want you guys to worry about these cycles at all, okay? That's not an indicator you can click on. That's a sort of custom one that I've made to represent money flowing in and out of the cryptocurrency space. But what I want you to focus on again is the Fibonacci retracement tool here, and just basically the trend line. So the most basic sort of tool a trader can use is just a basic trend line, and to follow from where the action sort of starts in an uptrend, and we see it sort of come down and approach this a few times, and traders start to step in, and again we're approaching really important levels on that trend line and the Fibonacci retracement here, the 50% retracement, and we've seen sort of Ethereum consolidate after a big run up at a really high retracement level. Considering this run up here we've had compared to that ant shares chart, okay, where it sort of ran up really steep and then fell off really steep halfway, we've consolidated right near the all-time high. And again, these sort of technical analysis can tie in with the fundamental analysis. And when I see this, it shows me that the smart traders and the smart guys aren't getting panicked and selling when there's red on their screen. They know that for them, Ethereum is still a long-term buy and hold coin, and it doesn't mean if this chart pattern breaks down, it's not going to go lower. But again, long term, I think if you can either buy and hold and not be too worried about these fluctuations at this stage when it's consolidating at a really high level. Okay, so next up, I want to talk about are these three different momentum indicators, and you can get those by clicking on indicators and oscillators here. Okay, and the first one I want to talk about is the stochastics indicator, and basically what that one does, it's sort of giving you an idea of the closing price in relation to the average trading price throughout the day. So if we look at any individual candle here, you see the body of the candle is the colored part. It has a wick at the top and the bottom. The body of the candle represents where it opens and where it closes on a given day, and the wick represents where it traded in that day before closing or opening. So again, if we close at a lower price than where we opened, the candle will be red, and if we close at a higher price than where we opened, the candle will be green. So I've just got this set on normal candles at the moment. I know a lot of other guys like to use Heikin-Ashi candles, and these ones, instead of using the opening and closing price, what these ones do, use a more of an average price to get you a better idea of the current trend. So if I switch that over, there's a lot more green on that screen and a couple of red bars, healthy little pullbacks, but it gives you a better idea of the overall trend. And at the moment, that's starting to change a little bit here, a bit of weakness, but again, we're not seeing red candle after red candle, okay? And we're definitely not seeing a lot of volume being sold off on these days, so still bullish in my opinion. And so for those that don't know, bullish basically means when you think something's going to go up in price, and bearish means something's going to go down in price. So sorry if I didn't explain that already. Back to the stochastics, okay? So this indicator again gives you an idea. If it's going up here, it means it's closing near the highs of the prices traded throughout the day each day. And again, you see the up run here in price, and it's closing near the highs. And then as it comes off here, the price is starting to close on the lows of each day and showing a bit of weakness or the market taking a breather. And that's all that indicator represents. So the next one's the relative strength indicator. And then that one gives you an idea of the speed and change of price momentum. So whether something's overbought once it gets up here or oversold if it gets down below here. And cryptocurrency is really the flavor of the month, and at no stage has it got oversold. So whenever it gets back towards fair value, there's guys willing to step in and buy it here. And we're seeing it at the moment sort of trending back towards fair value. But when something's oversold here, it doesn't mean it can't keep overbought. Sorry, it doesn't mean it can't keep going up in price. And these things, if there's positive news and the fundamentals stay good, they can stay overbought for long periods of time. So, just another good indicator to be aware of and have a look at to help get a sense of the overall picture of markets. And all these different things should be just tools in your belt to help you as you're trading. So, the next one's the MACD, and that represents the moving average convergence and divergence of two different time frames. So I just like to keep these things set to their defaults. That way I know that I'm looking at the same thing as the majority of other traders are looking at. So the 12-day moving average of the price versus the 26-day moving average. And as that 12-day shorter time frame average starts to accelerate, these things can diverge from each other here. So the space between the two lines gets bigger, and then we see the price needs to take a breather. And again, really big divergence as we get a big run up in price, and these things need to take a breather. So just another good indicator to have in your tool, and I hope I've explained those relatively clearly. And I just want to move on to how we can tie in fundamental analysis and news with our charting and technical analysis. So today we're reading about the SegWit 2X. It's reached 80% support by the miners. What's actually happened is that 80% of miners have basically given their intent to possibly signal the SegWit 2X at a future date. So I spoke about how Barry Silbert does like to use his Twitter. He's got lots of followers to sort of push his agendas, and he's been a real big proponent of this. But I think this last sentence here, the battle is far from over. Bigger and more contentious issues lie ahead. But when we get a really big Bitcoin news day like this, it's really negative on all the other altcoins, the smaller coins. So back to the charting here. Litecoin, this probably couldn't have been worse news to blindside the Litecoin supporters. And even though we've had some really bad news for Litecoin, some good news for Bitcoin, technically it's remained really high. And go back to the answers chart and how it's falls really sharply on the daily chart there. This thing's just stayed really high and consolidated at the highest fib retracement level, and that to me it means that the bullish uptrend is still intact. And I'm happy to sit on this one. And you guys know that I bought some Litecoin the other day, and for me, this trade hasn't changed. And this is why you keep money on the sides for when we get dips down to these Fibonacci levels or some fundamental news to push the price down. If my overall thought process and the reason I bought the coin hasn't changed, I'm happy to buy more. And this is why you never go all in on a position and always have a bit of money on the sidelines. Okay, so again, this is just the Litecoin versus Bitcoin price. Again, consolidating at a really high level here, and really approaching that all-time high. I like everything about this trade still, and I know there's red on the screen, and it's hard to buy when everything's dropping. Conversely, it's really hard to sell when there's a big green day. But I want to try and introduce you guys to these concepts of the psychological side of trading, as I think it's really important. So, just finally, I want to touch on the more advanced trading. I might do a video on that if you guys enjoy this one and you want me to go into some more advanced trading techniques, appropriate position size, how to just buy on exchange or trade on margin. Okay, I know that's really dangerous for new traders, so if I'm going to do it, I'm going to educate you about how to trade small, and I don't want any guys getting burnt. But let me know if you want me to make that video. I know I've got the tax special coming up this weekend. A lot of you guys are looking forward to. Got some really good news on that one. I'm looking forward to bringing it to you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this around if you enjoy the content. And thanks for tuning in, guys. Cheers.